Can we have one last question maybe from the gentleman?
This is Zahid Farooq Malik, editor of the Daily Metro Watch. My question is, Shri Shah Qureshi साहब, आपने कभी पूछा है अपने काउंटर पार्ट से कि अगर PIA के तैयारे evacuated person पैसेंजर के लिए वो रेगुलर पैसेंजर के लिए फिट कर पाएंगे?
Oh wow, that's a loaded one, and I love it. What he's saying is, if Pakistan International Airlines pilots and aircraft are good enough to evacuate the Europeans from Kabul, why aren't they good enough to fly into Europe? That's a good one. Thank you.
I have to confess two things. I understand KLM is no longer flying to Pakistan for quite some time. I'm honestly not an airline expert. I wasn't aware that PIA was not necessarily flying to Europe. So it's an important question to have raised.
But one thing I can say on record, I met the chairman of PIA this afternoon, and I want to, through you, to the media, I want to convey this to the staff, the officers and the captains of the Pakistan International Airlines. You've done a great job. We are proud of you. Under telling circumstances, you delivered. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
To deepen that and to reinforce the strong relations that we already have. As the Foreign Minister said, we've spoken at length on Afghanistan, the situation and the implications for the people of Afghanistan, but of course also Pakistan itself. We're very mindful and grateful for the long-standing hosting role that Pakistan has played to a large number of Afghan refugees over the years. And I very much hear your point that whilst everybody is focused now on Afghanistan, the unforeseen, or rather new developments and situation in country and its implications for the region, I'm here also to reinforce a message that we will continue to focus in and on Afghanistan, and this is not a passing by, this is not a fly-by-night visit. We are a long-time contributor, we have been a partner to the development prospects and growth of the people of Afghanistan, and we will continue to do so. We are very mindful and focused on the humanitarian needs. Generally, annually, the Netherlands contributes 50 to 60 million euros to Afghanistan. We will continue to do so through the UN or non-governmental organizations. Equally so, we are cognizant of the fact that the humanitarian needs are growing, particularly at this time and in this stage, and we will talk with our partners. On Friday, the foreign ministers of the European Union will meet to really assess, share our information, our analysis, and hopefully put together a new strategy, not only on how to deal with a possible risk of terror, and obviously continue to build on our counter-terror strategy, to really focus on the humanitarian needs, to ensure that the needs of the people of Afghanistan, women and girls, ethnic minorities, young men and women, that they are met, but also look at ways to achieve a sustainable development agenda, to be present, and of course continue to invest to avert a future migration crisis within which also many people will be desperate to either seek the recourse of traffickers, be smuggled, whilst others will be able to find refuge should they need to do so. There's a lot of focus on the need for closer cooperation, and of course we will explore ways in which we can assist Pakistan in its role as a hosting nation to refugees, but also wanting to invest and make use of the continuing, growing and improving investor climate to attract business to invest in Pakistan itself, to assist job growth, but of course also attract the right investments. On Afghanistan, the Foreign Minister and I agree that an inclusive political agreement would be necessary. It's the best chance for a stable Afghanistan and a sustainable future for all Afghans. But inclusive political requires time, it requires an evolution, And as the Foreign Minister knows, European Union members as well as the Security Council have spoken on conditionality. We need to take this one step at a time, but we need to be focused on the needs of people themselves and be there not only today but tomorrow and for the long journey that lies ahead, I believe. Stability of Afghanistan but also stability of the region is very much dependent on many of the steps we will take, and we look forward to the continued leadership by his Foreign Minister. He has many ideas, I think, the coming weeks, and we look forward to initiatives also being launched by Pakistan in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Foreign Ministers. I believe we have time only for a couple of questions. Would you kindly introduce yourself while posing a question, a gentleman in the black vest?
Thank you. My name is Adil Bashir, representing Rose News. I have a question from Netherlands Foreign Minister. Reports are there almost 700 staff is in Afghanistan, and you had already sent extra Dutch soldiers to have saved 60 Dutch special forces. Your whole staff has been evacuated. This is number one. And the second is, are you ready to provide asylum to Afghans who worked with you as translators if they want to approach? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there have been different steps taken in order to provide safe passage through evacuations to Afghan staff that have worked with Dutch forces or have a clear connection to the Netherlands, through non-governmental organizations, through support or having been employed by the military mission, such as the translators or others in that type of function, which may have caused them to be in so-called harm's way or be at an increased risk. A high number of people that have qualified in that category, so to speak, have been evacuated, but a number of translators with an employment history to the Netherlands are still on the list, and we continue our efforts to ensure safe passage and onward travel to the Netherlands. Their asylum status will then be assessed through a very quick procedure in the Netherlands. We have protocols for that. Every country organizes this differently, but I think the approach is the same. There's tremendous recognition and a sense of moral obligation towards those that have worked with and for us. We have evacuated all of our local embassy staff. As a Minister of Foreign Affairs, I was their employer, bar one person who chose to stay behind. He wanted to stay in Afghanistan and continue to work in his country, and he's still also looking after the premise of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Now, the embassy, our embassy now, it will be relocated to Doha temporarily, and we are exploring with a number of partner countries the conditions and parameters under which in future we can re-establish our presence in Kabul. This is a temporary relocation. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have a question from the right side, the lady in the middle? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Namra. I am from Pakistan Television. First of all, we welcome you, Excellency. My question to you is that how do you see the new situation in Afghanistan and the futuristic way in global terms, that what approach should be taken up? And my second question is that how do you see Pakistan's role in the evacuation process?
The second question is easier to answer. We have tremendous admiration, respect, and I'd like to reiterate our gratitude for the role Pakistan has played and continues to play. Even tonight, a number of our local translators or Afghan translators who've worked with us are being relocated to the Netherlands. So the work is ongoing, but not in the same way as, of course, we've seen until the date of the departure of the American forces. Your first question, I think, is the multi-million-dollar question. We're all coming to terms with the new situation, a new political reality with geopolitical consequences. I think a significant evaluation effort will be undertaken by all. NATO allies are starting this process. We will do so as well in the Netherlands, and I know many other countries are discussing, are using the data, are asking themselves, did we use the intelligence information we had in the right way? Did we have the right understanding of developments in Afghanistan? Have we been talking to the right people? These are normal, regular questions, but it requires a profound